Hi everyone, this is Rona. I thought today that we might make a streaming or video overlay using Sketchbook Pro. And there's going to be a challenge in that because Sketchbook Pro, when you save things in a PNG file, does not acknowledge transparencies. So when we get to the part where we save it, we're going to save it as a Photoshop file. We're going to open it up in a second editor, and in that editor we will save it as the PNG that we need. As you can see, I've got doggies in here today. Let me show you real quick. Nope, that's the other side. There's doggy number 1, and where is he? Doggy number 2. That's Obelix. We had thunderstorms earlier today. And so now my workmates are here. These are my co-workers, since I pretty much work at home. And so if I have to open the door later to let them out, or they decide to make a noise or something, please forgive me, but my co-workers are here today. All right, let's switch our scenes over to the Cintiq and open up Sketchbook Pro. Let's see, we need a new file. Oh wow, that's loud. Do I want to save this document? No, I don't. As always, we're going to work in a slow, quiet manner so that you can keep up and do it follow along style. This image, we need to change the size of it. First thing I need to do is turn my headphones down because these are very loud. There we go. We need to come up here to our image and change our canvas size. That way we have the proper size that we need for Twitch or YouTube videos or whatever size you need. And that size is 1920. So I need 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels. I'm going to click OK. And if I shrink this down, you will now see it is the size of a HD screen. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my keyboard, which I have my awesome ergonomic keyboard here. I have it sitting right on top of the Cintiq. I'm going to slide it to the side and work on my Cintiq, which I don't know if you guys have ever seen my Cintiq, but I'll show it to you real quick. It's this huge thing down here. And my desk is only so big, so often I put my keyboard up here. I love Sketchbook Pro, and I will try to do as much work as I can in Sketchbook Pro. It's just because it's fast for me. It's an easy program. It's the program I'm most familiar with, so I cheat. I will do anything that I can to work in Sketchbook Pro. So one of the things that you need to do is you need to think about the layout that you're going to have, because if you're playing a game like Destiny, let me sketch this out real quick. I'm just going to grab my ink brush and I'm going to grab some black. When you're playing Destiny, you're going to have on your screen, you're going to have your various things here. I just got done playing beta, which was very exciting. And all of your information about how much your life is and your ammo and your different kinds of weapons is going to be here. So you don't want anything to be in this area. You also usually have something up here. Sometimes you don't want anything in that area. So what that leaves, if you play Destiny, for example, is these areas are okay to put art in. That's just one example. If you play, what was it that I saw the other day? World of Warcraft. Most of the things are here, blah, 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 here in the middle. But it's okay to draw things here. In fact, you'll see a lot of people will be streaming themselves up here. I think, I'm not sure. But no matter what your design is going towards, you really need to pay attention to where your information is going to be on this layout. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can grab a screenshot and throw a screenshot in there. Then you know exactly where everything's going to be. I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to be that persnickety. I'm just going to show you how to do this process and in a quick way and not be absolutely perfect. So on this layer, I'm going to pretend that it's Destiny. And so Destiny has all this information for your different stats. I'm just filling in some boxes and lines to pretend things are there. So that means that we have all the rest of this to work on. I'm going to make yet another layer, and I'm going to keep this layer down here locked because I don't want to accidentally be working on opposite layers. I need to move my layer palette up here where you can see it. There we go. I started making one last night for my friend Cassia, and so I'm going to continue that idea. What I did was I made a box. I'm just going to grab a small solid brush here and make it really small, and I'm going to make a box here, and that did not work. Why did that not work? Because I'm on the wrong layer. See, now if I get on the correct layer, I should be able to make a box. There we go. There we go. And then I'm going to deselect the box, and I'm going to just fill it in and make sure it's all completely filled in. And right now I'm just using black just to get an idea of where I want these boxes to sit. Now you'll notice, because I used a very thick line, it made a curved corner here on this side, and I kind of like that. Let's also make another box. I'm going to grab my rectangle here, and I'm going to make this pen a little bit smaller just to give you an idea. I'm going to make this box right here really thin, and then I'm going to fill it in. I'm going to go up here to my tools up at the top and grab my flood fill. I'm going to fill in that box. Now, one of the things about flood fill is that you always need to double check, because there's often really light lines that happen around the edges. So when I turn fill off, I'm going to make sure, I'm just going to scribble, you'll see like this, I'm just going to scribble along the edge and make sure, and you can see it definitely right here where it's gray. I'm going to make sure that that is colored in solidly. Alright, now I think that's a neat start. I'm going to take another layer and I'm going to get another box. I like that curved corner, so I'm going to make my line once again, my solid brush line. I'm going to make it a little bit big. This time I'm going to use white, and maybe I want a chat box. So I'm going to, there we go. And maybe I need to move it over a little bit. So I'm just going to grab this tool right here and go to the entire layer. And I'm just going to gently move it over a little bit. I don't want it too close to the edge, because you never know exactly how it's going to sit on a screen. I think it's better to have a little bit extra on the edges as you go around. Visually, it won't hurt anything too much. Then I'm going to fill in this chat box. Now maybe I'll make 2 of them. I don't know. I'm just making an example. If I go here to my layers palette and I click on this round dialog, I have a duplicate layer. I can make 2 of them. Come up here once again to my quick transform tool and my entire layer, and maybe I'll just move it down here. Actually, you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to turn that until it's 180 degrees, and maybe I'll just put it right here. Let's see if that's the correct size. Does that look correct? Just a little bit bigger. Yeah, I like that. That looks good. So maybe that's a place for a webcam to sit. Then I have a place for a chat room. Now maybe I want to put in some neat art. So I'm going to take this top layer on my layers palette over here. I'm going to merge it with below because I want to keep the white ones separate from the black ones. I'm going to grab myself another layer and I'm going to insert an image. So let's see here, we've got an image, edit, and file. In file, I'm going to come down, drop to add image, and then I can go through my catalog of images, let's see, pictures, and see what I've got. I've got a Wonder Woman, I've got some Amanda Holiday, I've got some Katie Six. See what I have in OneDrive. I've got, let's put Katie Six in there. No. Let's put Amanda Holiday in there. Why not? Amanda Holiday has a nice dark background, and I think she's awesome. So let's just slip her in here, just like that, on that layer. And this is an image I did of Amanda Holiday. And I'm going to take my eraser tool. I'm going to grab the hard one. I'm going to push the shift key. Now watch what happens when you push the shift key. Oh, not shift. Here we go. Shift key. It will make lines. You can see that it makes them perfectly up and down or left to right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sneak up really close to this black line. Just keep sneaking until I get right close to it. I'm going to go straight down. And then when I let go of the key, I can just erase everything else that is part of that image. And I'm just going to make sure I get really close to her. And then shift, scoot over. There we go. Now I have to kind of remember what's on that other side. There we go. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to take my softer erase tool. I'm over here in the softer palette. And I've made it really, really big. So I need to make it a lot smaller. I'm going to go over here to my smaller tool and make it a lot smaller. And what I want to do is I want to erase some of this edge. So that it blends in with the back. And just lightly work around the edge. I'm going to zoom up here real fast and get really close up to this hair. You can see blowing it up really big helps. And once again, I'm going to click on the hard eraser tool. I want to make it small because what I want to do is I want to erase right up to those individual hairs. Give that some visual interest and overlap with the chat box. Make that really small and get in here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I don't like how that looks. I'm just gonna take those hairs out. That looks nice. Now I could have also kept her elbow in there, which would have been an interesting element, but I also want to keep the most screen possible for the viewing pleasure of the audience. If you add too much, sometimes you're too cluttered, especially when you have games that are very compact and they have a lot of information all around. It's very visually distracting. I don't want too much. All right, I'm going to leave that layer there. Let's see, this layer is an extra layer that I just accidentally made. I'm at a good spot to stop and save, just in case. File, save as, on my desktop. I'm just going to save it as a PSD file, which is your Adobe Photoshop file. I'm just going to call it overlay and hit save. So now it's on my desktop. It's easy to find. One of the other things that we need on this is maybe some words. So I'm going to use this text tool up at the top. Click add text, and the text tool in Sketchbook Pro is not the fanciest, but I'm just going to write her channel, or actually I'm going to make a fake channel that's not really hers, but you'll get the idea because I can change it later. Just Cassia playing. That's good enough. Now you can see in this box, I saved it, or not saved it, but the last time I used it, I had it at 288 pixels. Don't need to do that. I need to take my cursor and select it all and make it a much more reasonable size. Let's go down to 28. Up here, I can also make it in any color I want. Kind of like that peach color, but let's go with a light gray for now. I can always change it later. Yes, hit OK. And here I've got it in bangers, but you can see there's a whole list of fonts that you can use. But once again, one of the problems with this program, because it's a very easy to use, fast program, it's not meant to be a great text editor. So you have to kind of remember what your favorite fonts are. You can go through and click them all, but that takes forever. So I'm just going to click on some of my favorites. Let's see here. Amelia. Yeah, let's go with Amelia. Okay, good enough. And you can see it just dropped it in the middle. That's kind of normal. I'm going to drop it down here. And then I can increase it however big I want. And now let's see, maybe I want another one. Grab another one. And then I can write things like subscribe. And I can also change that color. Maybe I'll change it to a red. And it drops it also in the middle. You can also get the tweet icons, Facebook icons, all sorts of icons by looking on Google Images. Look for ones that are free to use. Make sure that you are not using someone's copyrighted images, because that's stealing. So you have to look at what is free use and what is available for you to use. So this is just a basic one, and this gives you an idea of how it works. So now I am going to get rid of this layer here completely, because that was just my fake thing. And I'm going to File, Save, and I've saved it as the PSD. I'm going to close this, and now I'm going to open up another program, such as Affinity Designer. Now, I do use Photoshop some, but I've really grown to like Affinity Designer. It does almost everything that Photoshop does, but at a much nicer price point, and I highly recommend it. You can also get photo editors from them. Affinity Designer does a lot of Illustrator-like things, and it does take a moment to load. I should have probably preloaded it. And come on, Affinity Designer. Sorry to make you wait. You might want to skip forward a little bit. Hello? Hello? There we go. The new version is available. Download now. See, that's nice. They keep their customer base doing with the newest versions. Let's see. Open. Go to my desktop, and here's this overlay as a PSD file. And you can see here, because we kept it as a PSD, now when it shows up in this program, you have the checkerboard that shows that it's a transparency, and that's exactly what I want. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and save it as the PNG. So I can go up here to File, Save As. It's got Affinity files. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I have to export it. You see, even I am not the great smart master. I am, here we go, down to export. I am just like everyone else. I make plenty of accidental boo-boos. So here it says right in the middle that it's 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels. That size is locked. It's being set as a PNG 24, and it is resampling it by linear. That doesn't matter. You can also set it to resample not just this way, but this way, and it'll compress it smaller. Not a big problem. And then just export it to my desktop, and there we go. So now, for as an example, I can put it into my software programs. Just as example, I'm going to drop it in real fast to this OBS software I use. Desktop, overlay PNG, and I'm going to click OK. And you can see here, now that I'm going to shut this one down, here you see that it is now on top of my normal image, and I can take my video that I'm using, and I can order it to be on the top, and I can change the size of it. Let's see, position size. If I can remember how to do but you get the idea. I can move this move to top. There we go. I can move it around, and I can actually resize it so I can fit it inside that white box, or right on top of it. And you would also do that with your chat information as well. And then you have this really nice, easy to make edging for your videos, your streaming. And there's my three-legged dog. That's Gelda, and she only has 3 legs. And I need to move this way so you can see her. Yeah. So thank you again for showing up to one of my videos. I hope this has been educational about how Sketchbook Pro does not save things as transparencies. So you need to open them up in another program and save them as the PNG so that it keeps that checkerboard. Otherwise, it saves it with white as your background, and you don't get the transparencies. But that's a super easy fix. Hope this has been good for you. And me and the co-workers say happy arting.